Hi everyone, my name is Michael Live with Asian Feed. I first just wanted to congratulate both of you on an amazing season.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, we're glad it's over, to be honest.
We're ready.
And both of your journeys on the show were definitely filled with ups and downs. How would each of you describe how you've grown throughout the process?
Yeah, I think I've grown a lot as a person. Going through something so difficult, especially in such a public way, I think really teaches you a lot about yourself and what you can endure and, how much strength you have. And that also that we are always a work in progress and that there's always things that we can work on to unlock new versions of ourselves. So, yeah, I've learned a lot about myself.
Yeah, I would say likewise. I think I learned so much about myself, just in terms of what my boundaries are and kind of what I want out of a relationship, a partner. So I think that was the biggest kind of lessons that I took from all of this is, what do I want moving forward and what type of person am I? So, yeah, I would say it's definitely a huge learning moment for both of us.
Are there any off-camera moments or conversations that either of you wish could have been included in the final cut?
Yeah, I think there's some moments where like I was hoping that you could see more of like our personalities maybe because there's so much filming that goes on and it's condensed into these 10 and 3 hour long episodes and there's so many couples that we're following, so it's kind of hard to like get the full picture of who we truly are on the screen. And so, yeah, I wish we could really show the audience like our complete nature, all of our characteristics and our entire personality more. But, I think for the most part, I think that's pretty out there. Yeah.
Is there any advice that either of you would give to participants in future seasons of Love is Blind?
I would tell them really try to be as authentic as possible and open your heart throughout this process. I won't lie, going through the experiment, I wasn't sure if it was going to work. And then, it did for me in that I did fall in love in the pods. And I think both of us really did, even though it didn't end up in a marriage at the end of it. But I think when you put your heart on the line, really take that chance to see if the experiment will work. So that's something I would tell future participants.
Yeah, and also to have the hard conversations, right? Like really express what you're looking for in a partner, because sometimes your emotions get the best of you and you start to care about that person, so you overlook what you're really looking for in a relationship, and to just challenge yourself to separate that and say, oh, like, I know I feel all of these amazing emotions about you, but is it going to be a long-lasting partnership? I think that's really important.
If each of you had to choose, what would you say was your most memorable moment from the season?
Our friendships, right?
Yeah.
I think honestly, just going through the hard experiences like really bonds like us, and that's I think the most memorable part, and what the biggest takeaway for me is that you can ask for support where you unexpectedly wouldn't normally like, even though we were dating the same type of people, like we were we just found an amazing friendship through that.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think the most memorable moment was when all the women just clicked and got really close. Deepti, Mallory, Ayana, Danielle, and I. And it became a forever friendship. So I'd say that was the most memorable but best thing that happened on the season for us.
As an Asian-centric outlet, many in our audiences have expressed how they can relate to the moments that both of you shared with your families. Can each of you describe what those moments meant to you?
Yeah, I think culturally it's not normal for, a South Asian woman to be like going on a television show like this, talking about intimacy and relationships. And, I kind of put my parents in a tough position, but it just shows how much growth and how much they've evolved as parents, because they're so supportive, and they were there for me every step of the way, through every up and every down. And so I think it really shows that we have to normalize being able to talk about things like intimacy in the Asian culture.
Yeah. I really loved that the show highlighted the relationships we have with our families. I think that there is kind of the stereotypical like Asian family, the stereotypical Asian families you see in TV shows, and they kind of show them as these like, you hear things like tiger mom or tiger dad, things like that, and that's not who our parents are, and so I loved that they show kind of this family love and care and openness that they have for the both of us. So, I hope people know that that Asian families don't just fit into this one stereotypical box.
Yeah. And our families love each other too. Yeah. It's so sweet.
Do either of you feel that your cultural upbringing impacted your experience or perspectives or time on the show in any way?
Absolutely. I think, in the media, we see what the standard of beauty is. We see, how relationships should play out. And, culturally, my parents always wanted me to marry an Indian man, but I think I kind of went against that just to kind of be a rebel. But now I'm realizing that race should not matter because love has no limits. And so, I'm looking at relationships and what I expect out of them way differently. But it did have a cultural impact on me. And it does play a role, and we should consider it.
Yeah. I think, like Deepti said, love doesn't have limits. Race shouldn't necessarily matter. I think for me, though, what I found going through this process is, the Korean heritage for me is so important and really impacts kind of the way that I show love and the love that I want. I want someone who embraces the Korean side of me, and I want someone that embraces, the culture that I love, and I want to, continue in my life, all the Korean traditions and things like that. So, I think that, my ethnicity, being an East Asian woman and a Korean woman, definitely played a big role on the show.
As a final question, if each of you could describe your Love is Blind experience in 3 words, what would they be?
We have strength.
I would say, I think at times it was heartbreaking if we're being very honest about it, especially the way our relationships played out. But I would also say it's been inspiring and exciting. These women inspire me every day, and I found them as inspiration in my life. And kind of everything that came with the experiment has been so exciting. Being able to kind of show our authentic selves on TV and also a piece of, our lives to the world. So